Welcome to the ITSP Magazine Podcast Network, a modern, innovative multimedia platform, broadcasting ideas and connecting minds. Every company has a story to tell, from the small startup to the large enterprise, and everything in between. This is one of them. We hope you enjoy this brand story conversation.
Marco.
Sean.
Vroom, vroom.
There you go. It was your turn.
It was my turn to start the engine.
I don't know why we started doing this, but at this point, we can't go back. Every time we start to talk about what's going on at Black Hat, we're going to do vroom, vroom. And we better explain that so people don't think we're crazy. It's because it's chats on the road. That's how it was born, to have the pre-event conversations. And we were literally recording podcasts in the car together, driving from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. That's why we do vroom, vroom. Now we're going to fly because it's way too hot to do that. And there's not much to see on the way anyway. But anyway.
You can only see XXYZZ road so many times. And
I know.
It's no longer novel.
And so many stones and desert area. And for some people that do it the first time, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun, but once they're done it a few times, it's okay to fly. But once you get there at Black Hat, then there is a lot of people to see. There is a lot of company there. And of course, there is Las Vegas too, but that's not why we're going there. And I am glad to see someone that we were joking. We literally see at every conference. So, Dror, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you guys, as always.
Yeah, always a pleasure, my friend. And I see the image on LinkedIn primarily, where I spend a lot of time, of us talking in your booth, and the color of that, and you just look amazing. I'm excited to have that experience again in Las Vegas. And this chat is to kind of catch up and hear about what's going on ahead of Vegas, so folks know what to expect when they come to your booth and meet you there and learn more about Coro and all the good stuff you're doing for small, medium enterprise.
Yes. So, of course, we're very excited to be at Black Hat. This is our second year at Black Hat, and we're going to be there in full force with our channel team, with our direct team. And we have a big booth, and would love to see everybody. It's booth 4734. We're very much looking forward to it. I think Black Hat is one of these places where you really get to meet the doers, the hard workers of cybersecurity. Unlike some of the other conferences that are a lot more executive and marketing oriented, I think that at Black Hat, it's a lot more the people that are carrying the weight on their shoulders. And we love meeting these people because that's who we cater to.
Yeah, the practitioners are in full force, and the architects and the all the doers and the researchers all come together at this event. This is really cool.
And a lot of service providers, MSPs, MSSPs, especially a lot of those that cater to the more middle market, small businesses, which is our bread and butter. It's a good fit for us to be there. Really good conversations last year. And I think that this year is going to be no different. I'm also looking very much forward to my talk. I'm giving a talk on the 7th at 3:45 p.m. And the title of the talk is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's Platformization, Consolidation, and Other Buzzwords Debunked.
That's really cool.
Everybody's talking about platform now.
I know.
Well, all right. So why don't we just do that? First of all, I'm excited to see your booth in their entirety, because I guess we saw in London when we met you there. Great team. We met the old team at Coro with fantastic people, and we had a chat right inside the booth. And you told me there was a smaller version. I was like looking up, and I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see the big one. But apart from that, give us a tease on what these buzzwords that you're going to debunk are, and what is this talk?
Yeah, so every year there is a new buzzword that sort of conquers. So 3 years ago, it was zero trust. Everybody was doing zero trust. 2 years ago, it was all about simplicity. Everybody was simple. This year and last year, it was all about AI. AI this, AI that, Gen AI, everything AI. And now the big buzzword is platform. Everybody's a platform. CrowdStrike is a platform. Palo Alto is a platform. Everybody's a platform. So in my talk, I'm actually going to help the people that are going to hear me out in, first of all, understanding what is and isn't a platform and how should they look at. I'm actually giving people a worksheet that they can use, just take a picture of and use with some formulas on how should they assess what is the right platform for them, what is a platform at all. Because some vendors out there talk about a platform, but they're far from being a platform. They're a combination of multiple products that are sold under one invoice. That's what I call an invoice platform, as opposed to a real cybersecurity platform. And there are many names you can think of, I'm sure. But my favorite, for example, when Kurtz talks about CrowdStrike being a platform, but their email is actually Proofpoint, I rest my case. So to me, I'd like to sort of create a framework in people's minds of what is and isn't a platform. I'm going to describe the 3 types of platforms that are out there, and which also ties directly into consolidation. And also, I'm going to talk about how do you evaluate which kind of platform is right for you. And within that, how do you evaluate the platforms that are out there as far as their fit for your specific needs? And there's a nice, we've done a lot of work internally at Coro in trying to understand how people should think about these things. And I codified it in a way that anybody can now take it and operationalize it in their own business, in their own company.
So let me see if I got it right. My vision is Frankenstein, right? You put pieces together, and we know what happened. I mean, Shelley, tell us what happened. What you're saying here is that it should be a platform by design, kind of like security, meaning you build it from the ground up in a modular way, as you guys do, and that's why when you say you just invoice as a platform means that you're just taking a piece, you're Frankenstein that. I'm doing a verb with Frankenstein here, and that's not going to be what you want.
Yeah, or maybe it is. Maybe all you need is an invoice platform, because that's something that takes away a lot of your procurement headaches, and you can you can negotiate better with the vendor because you buy a lot of things from one vendor. So maybe it is what you need. I'm not advocating against it. Okay. I'm saying that that's one type of platform, which is more around vendor consolidation rather than technology, which is what we offer, which is a platform that was built from the ground up as a platform that is modular, in which all the modules talk to each other seamlessly, where you have one dashboard, one pane of glass that you need to work with, where you have one endpoint agent that you need to deploy, just one that self-manages and you don't need to do any maintenance on, and that all of these modules talk to each other because it's an actual platform. Some of these invoice platforms, these tools don't talk to each other and rely on humans to do the triage in many ways. And our approach to security is very different. Our approach is, why not have these tools talk to each other and make smart decisions and take the human out of the mundane work and let the people focus on the big picture and not on chasing events and trying to understand triangulation between what your email security is saying and what your access security is saying and what your cloud security is saying.
And I don't want to steal any thunder from the session, so don't give anything away here that you want people to come and enjoy live on hand in person. But you mentioned platform archetypes. What can you share about that? Because that seems really cool. Marco and I like to look at things from an archetypical perspective as well. So what's that all about? Tease us a bit on that.
So I look at them from a consolidation of vendors, in which the platform is actually made up of multiple vendors that are sold by one organization. To me, CrowdStrike is a great example of that, where some of the tools that they offer are actually third-party that are not really integrated, but still you're buying from a vendor. You have one chokehold that you need to have. You have one invoice, you can negotiate better. So that's one type. The second type is more of a Cisco Palo Alto situation, where it's all their product, whether by acquisition or development, but they're standing behind that product. And there's pluses and minuses to that as well. And then the third is what we are, which is a platform that was grown from the ground up, no acquisition, no really fully integrated. And then there is something that is a little different, which is more of a service platform, where you're buying a stack from a service vendor that is basically masking all of the complexity and taking it upon themselves. Very costly, because somebody has to pay for all of that. But as a company who needs a platform, this also could be an option. So I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can be in my talk, in presenting the pluses and minuses of each one of those archetypes, and then helping the audience understand how to decide which one of those is the right fit for their organization. I'm by no means I'm saying that we are the right fit for everybody. So I'm presenting this as here's what you need to think about when you're looking at these four archetypes. And then within the four archetypes, I've created this, call it worksheet, spreadsheet, whatever you want, in which each area that you need to look at, you give it a weight and you give it a score. And then at the end, when you're comparing platforms within a space that you're interested in, whether it's an invoice or a vendor, or and then within those, you can see which one is the best fit for your needs based on what is important to you as an organization or as a team that is managing security on behalf of the organization. So it's really smart. I'm saying so myself because I'm very unbiased, of course. But I've invested a lot of work with my team in building this sort of like decision architecture that would be, I think, very helpful for an organization to look at how to consolidate in a way that is the right fit for them.
Yeah. No, I love
real quickly, Mark. I just want to make this comment because
no worries.
So an unbiased view, those view of those different types. To your point, there's certain things work for different organizations, but for you, and can you correct me if I'm wrong here, but as your vision to platform by design, achieve certain objectives with the solution that you build for a specific audience that has those requirements, does that help you really focus in and make, I'll say, better decisions, at least more informed decisions on how and where to invest to stay true to that particular audience?
So we look at every decision we make as a company, not just from a product development side, but also from a go-to-market side. We look at it through the lens of our audience. And our end audience is the mid-market and small businesses, but our real audience is the service providers who are serving them. So the MSPs, the MSSPs that are helping these organizations. So we look at this from both perspectives, and every decision we make as a company is looking at the decision through the lens of how is this going to make these people's lives easier, and how are we going to make their businesses more secure, and our decisions as far as product, as far as features, are always looking at it from that lens. So I always say, if you look at a feature checklist, then our thinking is we actually removed features because our thinking was we need to make it simpler and easier for my audience to be able to manage it, because they don't have the time or the dedicated staff to deal with a bunch of knobs and bells and whistles. They need security. They need security they can trust. They need security that looks at things on their behalf and removes workload, not adds workload, whether they're the end customer or the service provider who's serving them. Because if you're a service provider, if you're an MSP, and you want to provide your mid-market or small businesses with really strong cybersecurity, today it's not economically possible, because there is no way for you to offer them that in a way that you make a reasonable profit and they can afford, right? And we've taken that away. We've taken that away out of the equation, because we've built it in a way that you don't need to build a huge team, which is the highest cost from an MSP's perspective. You don't need to build a huge team to manage us. The system practically self-manages on the one hand side. And the system itself is very reasonably priced. So you can offer it to your customers in a way that they can afford it, provide them the full security, workspace security, gamut of endpoint and network and cloud and email and user and data governance, all in one platform, using one engine, using one endpoint agent, using one pane of glass. So from your perspective as a service provider, it's so much easier and so much more economical and so much more profitable to offer that kind of environment to that small business, to that mid-market customer in any vertical.
Yeah, I think that's a plus, because then as a service provider, you can offer your service on top of that. So it's not
absolutely.
It's very flexible. Not only, well, if you say easy, and it's also need to be flexible so it can adapt. And I know it's a modular system, but this is what I want to go back a little bit is into what is right for you, and often what is right for you today may not be right for you tomorrow. So that may be a moment where you say, you know what? I didn't even know I could go this direction, but I feel like I'm stuck with the stuck that I have. I know, Sean, you love the stuck, so I'm going to use it
Yes,
twice.
it's a stack.
And how I would like to know, maybe our audience right now would like to know how easy it is to jump on board with Coro.
Yeah. So a couple of comments about that. First of all, you're absolutely right. Many times, once you're fully invested in a very expensive, complex security platform, it's very hard to extract yourself from it. So with us, first of all, onboarding onto our platform, I'm not exaggerating, is minutes, not hours, not months, not days, minutes. Our customer success team can onboard a customer during a 20-minute call and take them from no security to full workspace security of endpoint, user, cloud, email, network, everything in about 20 minutes. With all of the configuration done in those 20 minutes. That's one thing. But more importantly, the way the platform was designed was that you can add and remove modules on demand. No, you don't need to be a tech genius to do that. You just turn them on, turn them off, they work. So you can scale up if your needs change, but you can also scale down if your needs change. Both from a user perspective, user-based perspective, or from a functionality perspective. And once you turn something on, it just works. There's no integration work. There's no configuration work. None of that. You just turn it on and it just works. I'll give you two examples that are very key. One of the key things that we're hearing more and more from our customers and our partners is all about data governance, because the government is now becoming a lot more aggressive in putting regulations around cybersecurity and data governance that historically have only been applied to the very large enterprises. And now they apply to anybody. So an example of that is the safeguard rules that the FTC put out last year. So with us, you basically say, I want data governance. You turn on the module. You say what kind of data governance you want. And it applies to your email, to your cloud storage, to your endpoint device, to everything. You don't need to start dealing with, you just tell us what you want to govern, where you want it governed, and that's it. It just happens, magic. Very, very different than other platforms that require you to do an enormous amount of configuration work, definition of dictionaries, writing scripts, and all. None of that. You just tell me what kind of data you need governed, and you trust us that we've done all the work behind the scene on your behalf, as far as identifying it, complying with different rules in different geographies, complying with different rules in different verticals. You don't need to worry about any of that. You just click a button and you can go from no data governance to data governance in minutes. That's an example. Another example I'll give you is user base. Let's say you spoke about changes in needs. Take a retailer, for example. A retailer has these cycles of employees, of staff, because, for example, towards the holiday season, they bring in lots of staff on to deal with the holiday season, and then at the end of the holiday season, that temporary staff goes away. With us, no problem. Add staff. You only pay for what you use. So add the 2,000 people that you're adding for the period of time during the holidays. That's great. At the end of those 2 months, take those licenses back and pay for the 300 people that you have on an ongoing basis for the year. I don't know too many other vendors that say that. Once you lock them in, you can't get out. That's it. You're paying for that license for the year.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. And I want to go back to, as we wrap here, just one point on the previous example. You've done the work for the different regions, the different policies, different regulations for the data governance. And I'm thinking, that's great as an individual company. Thank you very much. But as an MSP, holy cow, they can easily serve a much broader spectrum of organizations and not have to deal with a ton of stuff. Differences between them as well.
Absolutely, especially since a lot of their customers have multiple geographies to begin with. They might have some regional offices in different places, and suddenly they need to now comply with Canadian laws. Just across the border, 20 miles, totally different rules of data governance, of data residency, and an MSP that sits in, say, Detroit. Might also service people that are across the border in Canada. And with us, seamless, completely seamless.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to keep these conversations going, Dror, of course.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in Vegas. Come to see my talk.
I know. It's August 7th.
3:45.
3:35, yep. And Business Hall, Theater D. Platformization, consolidation, and other buzzwords debunked. And of course, we're going to put a link to where you can find that information and connect with the team at Coro. The energy from your team, Dror, I can only, it's stuck in my mind, the energy that your team had when we saw them in London is amazing.
Our team is great. I'm so proud of them.
So go see the team. There's a place to book a meeting here as well if you want a deeper dive into any of this stuff. So Dror, thanks a million for this chat. We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you for having me again, guys. I really appreciate it.
Well, and thanks everybody.
See you soon. I'll have another conversation. And for everybody else, Sean, I'm going to steal it from you.
All right, go for it.
Subscribe. If you are in Vegas, we can see you there. But a lot of people are not going to make it there. And we will be your eyes and ears. And we'll let you know what's going on there with other great conversation like this. And the conference and coverage goes before, during, and after. So stay tuned. And Dror, we'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everybody.